The audio for the music isn't going to be too loud this time. We are going to have a good stream. Got everything set up to look all nice. So to speak, what's going on, Team Rockets? How's it going? The music's quiet or my voice is quiet? Got home from the gym. You have more motivation than me because I have never been to the gym before. Let me see if I can turn my mic up on OBS somehow. Let me see. I might be incredibly loud now. I just added 7 decibels. How does that sound? Should be good, I think. If not, I can turn it up more. Music and voice. Okay, how about boosting my voice to where it's going into the red on my recording software? Turn the music up a little more. The music's supposed to be sort of quieter. It's not supposed to be too loud, but make sure the camera's got me. Alright. So let's see here. Where do I have my chat window at? It's like missing. It's good now, I'd say. Awesome. Hell yeah. I think I tend to just talk quiet whenever I'm relaxed, so that usually might be the issue sometimes. I'll turn the music up a little bit more here. It's a lot of just ambient dungeon synth music, so now hopefully more people funnel in here to start tossing some ideas out for what we want to make here. I haven't remade a giant stat block in a long time, so I'm sort of kind of in the mood to make a giant. Just redo some like hill giants or something. That might be fun. I haven't done any really low-level creatures, though, in a while, so that might also be fun. I keep leaning back and forth out of the webcam here. So, the question is, what do we want to do? I'm thinking like a normal creature rework, not like something original. It's been a while since I've done like an actual rework. I've been doing like miscellaneous things for a while here. How's everybody doing on this fine Monday evening? Have I ever done a goat man? I have not done a goat man. I've seen the stat block in Kobold Press. One of their books has a goat man. I got like Doritos everywhere. I'm just a literal just gamer moment there. I can't remember which book it's in, but it's in one of these books. It's pretty cool though. Yeah, rework, like taking something that Wizards of the Coast made and redoing it. That's usually what I do for most of my channel. But until recently I started doing stuff that's more original, like making like hemomancers and whatnot. Let me get some more music queued up here just for when this ends. Add that. Do that one as well. Well, I'm just gonna start looking through this list, see if anything catches my eye here. Then I might go from there. So are you leaning towards a rework or an OG monster? I think I'm leaning towards a rework, but depends on what people want. I was thinking about doing some like low level stuff if I do something original, because I haven't done any like really low level creatures for a while. I'm gonna move the chat window down here so I can see you guys better. That's better. Do that. There we go. I'm gonna add everybody in the Discord real quick. Probably make a bunch of people mad because I keep adding the entire server. Usually there's creatures that everybody wants to see reworked. I think one that everybody really liked that I did was the ogre, and I kind of want to go back and fix that because it's a little sloppy compared to how I do stuff now. If you want a low level creature, you could do something like a stone/gravel man. Creatures made of stone that hide on paths when you step on it. That's pretty cool. I do like that, like a low level rework of whites. Yeah, that might be an idea. Whites are pretty cool, and they're very simple. One thing that not that simple's a bad thing, but I like having a lot of variety and things that creatures can do. Nothing happened to my ogre. It's just that from when I made it to now, my design philosophy has changed a bit. What's up, Peter? I don't know what I'm working on tonight. I'm just letting the chat guide me. I'm holding like a tuning fork, and I'm letting them point me in the direction of where I want to go with what I want to work on tonight. The white has been the first OG suggestion, so we might be working on the white for tonight here. Let me turn the music up just a little bit. Not too loud, so it's drowning my voice out. That's a little... If the music gets loud, let me know so I know to turn it down, guys, because last time... on my last live stream, it was like so loud it was drowning me out. I guess we could do the white. Do you guys want to do the white? The white or the ogre is a good starting point, I think. One of the two. Alright, I guess we'll do the white. So, first things first here. Just looking over the stat block. Yeah, whites are like... I see them as intelligent undead. They're not like zombies, they're like more how the Forsaken are in World of Warcraft. And that's like what I think of when I think of like a white, or like Lord of the Rings wraiths also. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up another tab, and I'm going to bring up some of my other creatures that I have for reference here. Probably gonna grab a goblin just for the melee attacks and whatnot. We could even do some like folklore-esque abilities for the white, though I don't know what I don't know what the white comes from in terms of folklore. So let's see here. What am I doing? Losing my mind. My dog might start whining. Of course, he waits as soon as I start streaming to start whining. Alright, let me open up the zombie. That might be a good starting point. Yeah, hold on, guys. I'm gonna let my dog out of my room because he's whining. 1 second. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna open up. Actually, I'm gonna open up. What's the most recent thing I did? Did Neanderthals as my most recent thing here. So I'm gonna actually have two things open up. Zombies will be my one reference here. Alright, so usually what I'll do when I'm looking at creature stat blocks is I'm looking at the main thing right now is we look at the white, and to me, I don't know, if it's undead, I feel like it should be immune to poison, necrotic, and psychic damage, usually. I think whites are raised by necromancy. So usually most things that are raised by necromancy, they have necrotic absorption. So I think I'm going to give him necrotic absorption. That's just like one of my go-to things here. Sunlight sensitivity is good. That's like a good weakness that it has. Although I want to reword this and make it more optimized here. That. I always like to abbreviate stuff, like we don't need to say wisdom, we can say whiz, because that's like already cut down some space here. Alright, if a white is intelligent, it should still be weak to psychic. That's fair enough, I suppose. They're not like zombies and skeletons. So they have, according to wizards, they have a bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing resistance to non-magical weapons not made with silver. So silver seems to be one of their weaknesses, which is interesting. Although the problem with that is most of the time your players tend to just have magic weapons, so this ends up just becoming irrelevant and wasted space on stat blocks, unfortunately, with how 5e works. Let's see if I can tell my dad to take the dog out, so I'm streaming because he's whining. One second, sorry y'all. He doesn't have to pee all day until I start streaming. 5e abandoned interesting weapon type interactions. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And then most DMs also have that like mentality of like, you should give fighters magic weapons right off the bat, and it's like, in my opinion, I don't think you should do that. I think they should go through like the phase of like struggling with let me fix this real quick, actually. Make that a little bit bigger. I think they should go through the phase of struggling with trying to get their magic weapons, because like when you play Shadow Dark and you start off as a level 0, it is a big moment to even get a legitimate weapon. And I really like that feeling. So like when you find a magic item in 5e, like if a fighter finds a +1 longsword or something, that should feel big, but normally it doesn't, because it's just like the bag of holding where you just hand it out and then like, yeah, cool, we have a bag of holding, guys. Alright, so real quick, they're condition immune to poison, but they really should just be immune to poison damage because they don't have functioning organs. They're undead, so that's that should be like that. Now, I think originally in the older editions, undead were immune to a ton of conditions, especially like stunned. So I do want to do that for a lot of undead. So we're gonna give them immunity to charmed, exhaustion, frightened. What else do I have? Poisoned. We're gonna do stunned and unconscious, because they don't sleep. They don't need to sleep. Now, what this does is it makes your cleric players and your paladins much more powerful when fighting undead. I need to know if I should give these guys a vulnerability to radiant damage. I usually do that to like make the clerics and the paladins really strong. Undead used to be like the entire thing with undead was like they're very resilient and they're incredibly strong, and you have to bring like a paladin or a cleric with you when fighting them, because otherwise they're a pain in the ass. They're hard to take down. So I think I might we might do a vulnerability to radiant damage just to see how I feel about that, although that might be a little too strong. We'll see how I feel. We have a perception and stealth skill, CR3, so we got to try to keep these in the tier 1 range of difficulty here. So what else did I want to do? Is there any special traits that we should do for these guys? I wish I knew more about like white lore in D&D. Let me go to the wiki. Let's see if I can find some lore for these guys. So they are given a semblance of life through sheer violence and hatred. They could drain the energy out of victims by touch, turning them into new whites upon death. So that's pretty sick. I feel like I should put an image of one on screen while I'm working on it, so people know what I'm working on. But I'd have to do the whole OBS shuffle to get that set up. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that. So let's look at like combat. So they drain the life out of the victim even through their flesh, clothing, and armor. They preferred to move stealthily or hide in the shadows. They release a death wail when slain. That ability whipped surrounding undead creatures into a frenzied attack. Okay, so there's a thing right there from the older editions that's not present in this one, so we can immediately do that. We'll do like death wail. Could expand on that. So there's other reasons whites return from death. Hey man, just found your channel recently. Been really enjoying how you bring the monsters to life through their mechanics. Glad to catch you live. What's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad that my channel helps you out. That's like my whole goal here is when I make creatures, I just try to like show other people like you could do so much more with stuff versus Wizards of the Coast. Any chance you'll tackle griffins in the future? I do want to do some more stuff like that because flying creatures, especially like griffins, are like a lower level, you know, like I think they're like CR3, but they're a creature with wings. So like any creature with wings is a very dynamic fight no matter what. So I do want to do stuff like griffins and like Praytons, do more stuff like that in the future. So I do plan on, maybe we'll even do those after I finish this white. We could possibly try to do those. But as of right now, we're gonna do this white here, and then I'm gonna be taking your guys' suggestions for like what I should add here. Yeah, mountable creatures. Griffin is like a classic, so like you make like a cavalier fighter or something. They usually want to get a mount that has like wings typically. That's like the end all thing. Alright, so I want to do Death Whale here. Let's see. So they release a Death Whale when slain, and it whipped surrounding undead creatures into a frenzied attack. Okay. 2-0. We'll say each allied undead within a 30-foot radius gains do something like that just as a placeholder. I think that'll work for now. We'll probably change that up and do something else with it, but I think that counts as whipping surrounding undead creatures into a frenzied attack. It could even, if I wanted to be mean, say whenever the white dies, all the undead allied creatures get an attack immediately as like a reaction or something. That would be cool too. That might be a little strong, because if these guys are like minions for like a lich or something, and like the lich is just constantly getting extra attacks, that'd be pretty nasty. Alright, so I'm still up in the air on whether or not I want them to have radiant vulnerability, because like liches don't have radiant vulnerability. We'll take that off for just the time being, but usually if you give a creature vulnerability, it kind of gives you the excuse to like go a little more crazy with like the stuff that you let them do, because they have like an innate weakness. I don't think we need to change like the hit points or the ability scores. Let's do multi-attack now. Let's try to reword this. Give them radiant vulnerability and give them a fear or chant spell type skill. See, what I would normally do if I'm doing a full rework is I would do like multiple versions of a white, which I could do later on, but I don't want to focus on just the white the whole stream because people will get bored, I feel like. We'll just say makes 2 longsword / longbow. Because it's actually, it would be cool to make like a white like spellcaster, I think, actually. Alright, so this is a big thing, especially like if you're a newer dungeon master. Having all of this wording here is kind of annoying. Because like usually stat blocks are meant to be like something that you can easily glance at and then, you know, use to, you know, varying degrees of success. You can add the death well and make it only enrage undead of lower CR. Yeah, I could do that too. Well, normally how I would do this, because I've been doing it like this recently, is CR3 is what? Proficiency bonus 2. I normally would say this is a tier 1 creature. If I'm going off of my normal design philosophy here. It almost would be cool to like go through and just start labeling certain creatures as like lesser undead, greater undead, and stuff like that too. But we'll come back. We'll circle back to that. Okay, let's see here. Life drain. We're gonna move that down. What's up, Say? How's it going? Let's fix this longsword attack. Longswords are martial weapons, if I'm not mistaken. I want to get this here. Losing at League. I don't know how you're still playing League. I just lose my mind whenever I play League, so I stop playing it. Alright, let me see. What am I doing? What am I doing? I want barbarians. This will work. For example, if you see all of this, this is like excessive. Like the amount of wording that they have in here, this is excessive. You know, as a player, this only targets one creature. You don't need to say that in a melee attack. The reach 5 feet, yeah. Do you even need to say reach? You really could just say 5 feet. Some people want to do it. I know like August likes to do it to where it sounds like Wizards of the Coast, but I would rather just cut all of that excess out and just make it look clean like this. Because it just, I don't know, to me it looks better. So let me see here. We got we have a slash or a stab. And hold on, let me read chat here. Muris, the World of Mice. Do you have any tips for a warlike combat encounter? I actually tried to do one of those and I failed miserably. So I don't have one personally. What I would actually do in the future, I think, if I ran another large-scale encounter, is have like the battlefield is centered around just what the players are doing. Have it resolve in like, okay, we're gonna get through this round of combat. After they win or lose, progress time in the battle a little bit and say like, okay, because you guys won that skirmish, you know, the rest of your army, you know, starts fighting back. They start cleaving through the front lines of the enemies. The second wave is coming at you, and now we're gonna roll initiative again, and then you start like a second encounter, and then try to throw like maybe some curveballs in there, like, you know, the Battle of Helm's Deep, for example, the Urukai, what would it be called? A saboteur, the Urukai with the bomb on his back, blows the wall up. You could do something like that, and now the players have to react to that and figure out what they need to do. I'm not super well versed in large-scale combats yet. You know, I only have attempted to do it once, but it was not well thought out nor planned out, so I'm still learning as a dungeon master when it comes to that as well. 1d8, 1d10. If used two-handed. Should be how it's worded. You're right. Being verbose in descriptions can get annoying. Yeah, and like I look back at some of my older stuff, and like sometimes you have a really good idea and you want to make it come to fruition, but like you gotta like cut stuff out. Whenever you get a stat block that like just like keeps going and going, and it's like a full page, and it's not like a huge boss fight monster, it's kind of redundant. Because now if I wanted to run this white with like a bunch of zombies, maybe some skeletons, and then like a ghost, the more abilities this has, the more I'm gonna have to keep track of all at once, so it becomes like kind of annoying. No problem, man. Any questions, I'll try to answer to the best of my ability with what I know. I've been DMing since before COVID. I think it was like 2019, 2018 I started DMing. Actually, my first game was 3.5. It wasn't even 5e, but obviously Critical Role got me into 5e. I think this is like an example of like what I mean when it's like you could cut down most of the wording, and like I started doing this recently where it's like in 5e a lot of attacks are like, okay, a longsword only does slashing, but it's like swords can be used to stab also, so it's a slash or a stab attack. It's 1d8 or it's 1d10 if you're using it two-handed, and I think even new DMs could understand that, right? The PCs were too OP and it didn't matter in the end. Oh, I skipped your last message. I only did large-scale scenarios when they took the place of the DM who dipped. Yeah, and that's another good thing too. You could really, like, realistically, the players they're fighting in this battle, but they're only fighting in like one portion of the battlefield. So like if they win their fight, let's say you were gonna just roll a d20 versus another d20, like your d20 is like the ally side versus the enemy d20, and like whatever they roll, whoever wins that roll, it's like you could say, okay, now the enemy battle lines are pushing in and they're starting to win the fight. But let's say like the players won their skirmish that they were having, so you give like your side advantage on the roll or something. And then you can have other factors in, like, oh, the enemy army has like giants and stuff, and they're lobbing humongous boulders and it's smashing into your front line. It's better to do it with like, rather than trying to do the whole battle in a fight, you're just kind of doing it like scene by scene. Maybe you can have more enemies join after some invisible threshold is reached. That also would work too. Also welcome, Archivist. Like, they see your party fighting and they come to help their guys. Yeah, exactly. Like, I always wanted to run, what's it called? I think it's like Fury of the Giants or something, or Storm King's Thunder. It's one of the older original modules that's based around giants. And it's like, if you use the giants that I made versus your player characters, even if they're level 20, they're still going to struggle, but... thoughts on area of effect melee attacks? I think the Berserker orcs at Helm's Deep that ride the ladders and clear the ramparts with wide string. Yes, I actually did that with my Storm Giants that I made, because like Storm Giants are literally, they are so big, they're massive. They're like teetering on I think Gargantuan. They're like at the top of huge, and it's like if you look at their artwork, I can even see if I can get a Storm Giant artwork. Hold on. We're in no rush. We're just chilling, right? Nobody cares if I go off on these tangents. Let me see here. I don't know how well this will crop into the screen that I'm using, but like if you look at the Storm Giant artwork, his sword is literally the size of his entire body. You're telling me when he swings that, he can only hit one creature? I actually made it so that whenever he attacks in like 20-foot cones, and like that you use that one attack roll, and if it hits and breaks the AC of like 4 creatures in that attack roll, he hits all 4 of them. If he rolls a nat 20 with that attack swing, he crits all the creatures in that, range of the attack. So I actually do like area of effect melee attacks. I think with how strong player characters have gotten, it's fine to do stuff like that. I'm gonna change the music up here because it's like kind of distracting me. I want something more chill. I just watched the Storm Giants video the other day, and I was so happy to hear that you put that in. Thank you. I actually need to go back and redo them because their stat block is like way too big. I've evolved since I've created this, so I feel like I could cut down on a lot of that. It's a good point. D&D has lost a lot of the edge. What was the song just now? It is on a playlist. Let me go back. So here, I'll post the link in the chat for it. Let me see if I can do that. This is the playlist that I was just using, and I just skipped to the next one. Cryo Chamber, they do a lot of really good dungeon synth music, and I find it very cool. The one that was just playing was the song at the very, very end. It was the very final one. But like I was saying, good point, D&D has lost a lot of the edge. I agree with you. I haven't played a lot of the older editions, so like 5e was where I got in, but like if you just look at like some of the older creatures, they're pretty scary, man. Like you have stuff like the Book of Vile Darkness, and then you look at 2024 D&D, and it's like it literally looks like Disney Pixar presents Dungeons and Dragons, and it's like I'm not into that, man. It's the same thing with like I don't like the direction that it's going. It's like too uppity. I prefer like a grim, dark, gritty, like dark fantasy is like what I prefer. That's like my favorite type of fantasy. I remember the first campaign I played with friends. Adventuring felt scary and dangerous. That's exactly how it should feel, I think, in my opinion. Some people, like, obviously I know players like the heroic feeling, and it's like, ever since somebody said to me like 5e is like superhero fantasy, I was like, man, it kind of is, but I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I want my adventure to feel like when Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli go into the mountain with all the dead, the mountain of the dead, and they are walking through, and Aragorn's like, don't look down, and then Gimli looks down and they're walking on skulls. Like, that's what I want my adventure to feel like. I don't understand why barbarians don't have more abilities like that. It would certainly help the marshals keep up with casters if they had AoE attacks. Yeah, they should have like a cleave ability. I think they have something like that, but it's their version of cleave is like you hit something, and if you reduce it to 0, you make an attack against a creature next to it. But I think it's like you should just make a sweeping attack, and like, you know, maybe for a player character, I think like 2 creatures is fine, and you could probably go up to like 3 depending on the size. But like the same attack roll just hits everything in that cone, and like I think that's fine. I don't see a problem with it. He's out of line, but he's right. Yeah. I was working on a homebrew system for a while, but it's so much work, trying to give a sense of danger back using my own custom setting. The biggest thing about 5e and why it doesn't feel dangerous is like player character's health is way too high. So it becomes very, very draining because, so like I'll just use this for example. So like if I wanted this white to be dangerous at like a 20th level, I would have to do like 8 die for each attack. It would have to be something ridiculous like that. And now it goes from, you know, you're hitting a character for 10 for like a d10. Now you have to hit them for 8 d10 just so they feel the damage. I think the best way to make the game feel more brutal is like somehow capping hit points or reducing overall hit point gain. I watch a lot of Professor Dungeon Master stuff, because he actually, I kind of like how he runs his games. He's got like this very like old school brutal dungeon crawl type of campaign. If you guys have never played Shadow Dark, also Shadow Dark, whenever you level up, it's very similar to 5e. It's like super similar. Like if you know how to play 5e, you know how to play Shadow Dark, but it's you don't get like your con mod. I don't know why I can't talk. Your con mod doesn't get added to your hit points after first level. So like if you roll like 3 1s in a row after you've leveled up like 3 times, your hit points are only going up by 1 point for 3 levels. So you could be level 5 and still have 13 hit points. And like a single D10, you don't add any modifiers to damage rolls in Shadow Dark unless you're like a fighter. But a single D10 is still scary. So like if a skeleton walks up and hits you with a D8 and he rolls an 8 on the D8 for damage, that's like a, oh man, dude, I'm dying. Even if you're a badass, like you can still be a badass but be mortal. I think a lot of players just don't like that. I think it's like a certain like sect of the community that just doesn't like challenge. I think they just want like there's people that play 5e and they're like, oh, we signed an agreement when we first start playing to where none of our characters are gonna die. Yeah, people don't want to kill their darlings. Maybe it could be based off their strength modifier for the number of enemies. That's a good thing too. Like you could even homebrew that in. You could say like, I would tie that to weapons, and I would say like if you have proficiency with a great axe, whenever you make attacks, you can use like a cleave attack or something. I don't know if they should have multi-attack doing that at lower level, because that would be a little nuts, because then the barbarian can cleave through like 4 goblins, you know, a turn. It's a little bit ridiculous at that point, but then again, you know, maybe it's not ridiculous. I think if you're gonna do that, you're gonna have to like just rework the whole system. Like you're gonna have to nerf magic. I like how magic works in Shadow Dark. Sorry, people are probably like screaming at their monitors for me to continue working on this, but I'm just chilling, man. I'm just chilling. All right, let's fix this up here. I think a longbow is a martial weapon. Hopefully the music's not too loud also. Again, if the music is too loud and it's drowning my voice out, let me know so I can turn it down. Let's see here. I need to find something that has a longbow that I can use, because I don't feel like typing all this out. Where did you go? Wizards die so easily. I'm fine with magic being very strong. The only thing that bothers me is how consistent magic is. Like there's like no chance of failure whenever you're casting certain spells unless the spell has an attack roll, versus like if it's an area of effect, you can't fail that spell no matter what. So I like how in Shadow Dark every spell that you cast is a roll. You essentially do an attack roll for every spell that you cast. What is up, the modern fantasy? How is it going, my man? What am I looking for here? I'm trying to find... I had a creature that used a longbow that I can't find now. So essentially, magic is magic in Shadow Dark. Pretty much. It's magic, yeah. It's just like magic's pretty strong. You don't have spell slots in Shadow Dark. You can essentially cast that spell as many times as you want per day, but the second you fail that roll to cast the spell, you can't cast that spell again until you take a long rest. And there's no short rests in Shadow Dark either, so if you guys are gonna rest, you have to make sure you plan it. So if you roll a natural 1 on that spell cast, like if you're a wizard, the spell blows up in your hand essentially, like something crazy happens. It's actually pretty cool. It's very, very enjoyable. But obviously some people don't like that. They'll, you know, they'll get mad and they'll be like, this is bullshit, I don't like this system, it's trash. And then you just sigh and say, okay, I guess we'll just play D&D 5e more. Hold on, let me do this. What is it? 150 to 600. Alright, 150 to 600. This will be shoot arrow. Bam, bam, bam. Alright, let me see here. What's up? What is... oh my god, what is happening? I'm screwing my chat window up here. What's up, Matthias? You're so right, brah. My homebrew. Light magia, which are most destructive spells, can't be used safely by humans and elves. There's little danger side effects, though. Yeah, I think there should always be a downside, especially for something as powerful as magic. Like, just think about it. Why is it so consistent? Why can you draw your bow and fire, and like there's a potential that like the bowstring snaps, but you literally manipulating reality is just consistent. Like, you could just do it. There's no downside. There's no chance of it failing, you know. I gotta go for now, but I'll leave with one last idea for barbarians: a shockwave attack with a warhammer. Yeah, that would be cool. I think that's like kind of teetering on like superhero-esque stuff, but like depends on like what your subclass is. Like if you were somehow imbuing, you know, your swings with like elemental magic, I think it could work, as long as there's like a reason behind it. D&D is missing a lot. Missed the opportunity to make a significant change in this edition. I have the hiccups, by the way. It's me. Whenever you see me go like this, I'm holding in my hiccups so I'm not making noise. Yeah, I agree. I think this edition change was pointless. I think they could have just added another book that added all this stuff in, and then they could have called it a day. I mean, it's basically Tasha's Cauldron of Everything 2.0, basically. Dark magia is human magic, which is much less flashy, but less prone to catastrophe or corrupting the human body. Thanks for all you do, man. I really appreciate your contributions. Thanks, man. That means a lot. I'm glad that you enjoy my content. I don't plan on stopping, hopefully, but, you know, life is kind of nuts right now, and it's hard to juggle YouTube with my life, but I don't want to stop because it's, you know, I like talking to my community and having a fan base, if you will, so... hope to see you again. Have fun at Warhammer. Oh no, you're not leaving for Warhammer, you're going. I thought you were talking about playing Warhammer. What do we have here? A Ring Wraith? A Nazgul? This is just a rework of the white. We were, it was sort of voted in, so we're just trying to rework the white and make it a little bit more interesting. Putting the DmDungeonMastery seal of approval on it. Now, when I'm thinking of a white... Hold on, I feel like the music's loud for some reason. I'm just paranoid because the last time it was really loud. Do you think a Dragonborn should be able to smite with a breath weapon? You mean like they can replace, like how smite works, like when they hit, they can choose to add their breath weapon onto it? I think that would be fun. It would be cool. You'd have to homebrew that specially. What was I saying here? I was saying what I wanted to do is I'm thinking about giving them some sort of special attack with like their longsword. I was doing stuff with longbows, where I would have them, you know, you could do a tendon shot and like shoot their leg and like reduce their movement speed, but I don't know how people feel about that stuff. I know people get annoyed with rider effects, and then they say like, this is just anti-martial propaganda when you add this stuff. I gotta take this hoodie off, man. I'm fucking sweating. I think he meant like breath weapon can have the smite added onto it. That would be pretty strong, because then you'd have an area of effect smite. A sword that wounds the spirit. That's a good idea. I could even call this like longsword something special. Hold on, I'm gonna take my hoodie off real quick. My hair's a mess. Put this on. Hide the mop going on my head there. There we go. Alright. Yeah, I think it might be a little too strong if you would... Now, I think if you did it how I was suggesting, where you could just, you know, when you make your breath weapon function as smite, so like when you hit with a melee attack, you could choose to throw the breath weapon onto it, and then it still like consumes the breath weapon use per day. I think that would be fine. I don't see why that would be too OP, because like the breath weapon is already kind of niche. You only get a couple uses of it per day. I mean, as they use their breath weapon, and instead of normal thing smite does, change it to the damage. It changes the damage to radiant and adds like a d4 of damage. Well, it depends on how difficult your game is, I would say. If you're running like a game where like all your enemies are super strong, doing stuff like that's fine. I usually make my monsters pretty strong. I kind of do want to make this sword like, I don't want to call it just like a long sword. I kind of want to do like a 4E. Let's look at the 4E monster manual here, because they usually have some cool ideas. I never played 4E before everybody gets mad at me and says it's trash, but they do have a lot of good ideas. I'm gonna be honest with you. That might be controversial, but they kind of cooked with 4E. What a white, not a wraith. They don't have white in the first. Oh, they do. 262. 262. Alright, let's see here. Cursed. Wait. A white can send you a sword attack combo, and each attack affects your soul. You lose -1 on every roll every time you fail a test. Soul Plague chance on hit. Yeah, that's a good idea. The question is, do I want to make a basic attack force a saving throw on every hit, though? Because then that ends up slowing the game down. So, what do we got here? We got... Soul Draining Longsword. That's what it's called in 4E. So it deals extra necrotic damage, and the target is immobilized and weakened, and it loses 1 healing surge. I don't know what healing surge is, but I could probably interpret that as something. I think you could just use hit die back in 4E, like any class could just heal themselves with hit die. Maybe that's what healing surge means. Okay, we're gonna call this like I think we might call these like cursed weapons. So this could be like a cursed longsword. And then this is kind of teetering into the higher tier category though, because now this doesn't feel like a CR3 creature anymore. Maybe we just have it deal extra necrotic damage or something. Can't be affected again for a few hours. You can do it once per turn and then take the D4 off the rolls. You could even say like your next D20 roll has like the Bane condition essentially. I want to keep this CR3 like in power, so I gotta be careful with what I add here. But I do like the idea that like their weapons are cursed. Because they do have that life drain ability as well, which is going to be, I have to work on that and figure out how I want to do that too. Let me see here. Slaughterer white. Yeah, okay. So Death Whale in 4E, whenever the white dies, all other undead allies can make a basic attack as a free action. So that might be what I change Death Whale to. Within 30 feet. Can make attack roll. Against do that. That sounds good. Whites are kind of like mini bosses at this level. It screams and pisses itself if it touches silver or something. Yeah, I could do something like that. Maybe if they get a kill or their friends, the curse ability is enabled. That's a good idea. I like Death Whale being like a the white dies and then like all the creatures get an attack roll for free though, because that kind of goes in line with how the lore talks about it. I just want to think here. What do I want to do for the cursed weapon? I think if I did a higher level white, I would definitely make the weapon deal necrotic damage. But having it do like essentially 2 die worth of damage along with having life drain, that's really strong. So I think we might... We're just going to do this actually. We're going to say living creatures have 1d4 their 20 roll. Or I could even say they're baned. Let me see, hold on. I need to see what Bane says. I'm pretty sure Bane is just you have a -1 d4 to all your d20 rolls, right? Bane. Up to 3 creatures of your choice. It's a charisma save. They roll a d4 and subtract the number rolled from an attack roll or a saving throw. Some people were getting mad that I was saying living creatures, because living creatures is like too, I guess, broad of a term. But like I kind of like leaving it up to you as a DM if you're going to be using this to like you decide what counts as a living creature. Obviously it's anything that's not undead and not a construct. You could even say maybe it's not an elemental either, but I'm going to leave it as living creatures right now. Alright, so we're going to say living creatures must roll a d4 and subtract it from their attack rolls / saves for 1 minute or 1 min Or I could do it until the end of their turn. We're going to say for 1 minute or until targeted by remove curse. Maybe it should... Do you think it should require a saving throw for this? Like when you get hit, you have to make a charisma save. That's how Bane works. You make a charisma save, and charisma is pretty strong, especially against like barbarians and stuff. I think this would make the white like a truly like, oh man, that's scary. Until targeted by remove curse. Okay, we'll do the saving throw. It's just the only thing that sucks is like when you're running multiple of these and like every single attack they make, you have to make a saving throw. Like players will say, "Oh, I'm fast with my rolls," but they're not. They'll always go, "Oh, what kind of save is this? Oh, it's charisma. Okay." They roll. Hold on, let me look at my charisma mod. It's faster if it's just like you roll it. Okay, you're cursed. You were hit with the longsword. You're cursed. But also, it kind of seems like it's just like a waste to use remove curse until you kill the white anyways, because he could just keep hitting you and cursing you on repeat. What do you guys think? I also probably should put a comma here. Piercing damage. Living... We'll do comma. Living creatures must roll a d4 and subtract it from their attack roll 6 saves for 1 minute until targeted by remove curse. I don't know. It seems not too bad. It just seems like a damn, this sucks whenever you get hit by that. Because that, for spellcasters too, that sucks. You know, if you were using the Shadow Dark rules, that would really suck because you have a minus d4 to cast all your spells. But that's why a lot of these things kind of just seem like, you know, you're just shitting on a martial class. But in reality, this is like, this would be more dangerous if you just did spellcasting like that. Can we get a long-term soul plague other than the short-lived Bane effect? I think that would be better on life drain if I do that. Now, as for the longbow, I don't know what I want to do with the longbow. I feel like whites are pretty, you know, they're like martial masters, right? Also, I should probably add something in here as a special trait that says like only while in the white's hand is its longsword cursed, so like you players can't get cursed weapons at, you know, level 3 and they're running around with swords that have magic. So I'm gonna do I think profane. What does the word profane mean? Or we'll just call it cursed weapons, I guess. Let me find magic weapons. Personally, I don't think they should have the bow. They're buried with ceremonial swords and armor. Yeah, that's a hot take though, because if they don't have a bow, they have no way to deal with the ranger on the flying broom. We'll call these, we'll say cursed weapons. Apply a rider. Yeah, so good on the ranger for getting a good position. It says in their lore they use bows though, so I'd like to go off of the lore. I don't see why they can't use bows. Because these are like intelligent somewhat. You can make it so that the arrows are like spiritual in nature, so they pierce through foes and keep going until they hit a non-living. That's a good idea. They could be like soul arrows or something. These are all like the people he's killed, maybe. Like his quiver is like cursed, so when he puts the arrows in his quiver, it curses the arrows or something. That would be pretty sick, actually. That almost makes me want to do like ethereal arrows. So like if you don't have magic armor, his arrows ignore your armor and your shield AC if you don't have magical armor on. I think that would be cool. What do you guys think? Like I do with my ghosts, I usually, like, if you don't have magic armor, they just reach right through your armor and hit you. So I think that actually would be kind of cool if we did that. Yeah, we'll do cursed longbow. We're gonna call this soul arrow. Evil. Piercing damage. How do I want to do this? How do I want to word this? Let me find my ghost stat block real quick, because I have where are my ghosts at here? You can use holy water on your armor. Yes, that's actually a good idea, because holy water doesn't get a lot of uses. So if the barb tried to body block for the other players, the arrow will pierce straight through him. That is a good idea. I like that idea, but for a CR3, it almost feels a little too strong for him to like shoot an arrow that just keeps going and hits everybody. Unless I make it a recharge attack, which I could do that. I do like the holy water thing though. Let me see here. I did ghosts recently. Where is it? I have to look through my Discord server. If you guys aren't on my Discord server, by the way, you should get on my Discord server, because you get access to all the creatures that I've made that way. All the free creatures that I've made. Let's see. No, where is... I don't think I know I updated it, but where did I put it? Let me see here. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Ghost. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Incorporeal weapons. All weapon attacks are magical and bypass non-magical armor and shields. Okay, so we're gonna say incorporeal. Ammunition, maybe. Oops, sorry. Punch my mic. Blew your eardrums out. Incorporeal ammunition. Attacks against... How the hell do I want to word this? Attacks with this weapon bypass non-magical armor and shields. AC bonus. Does that make this look ugly as shit though? That's the question. Hold on. Protection from evil and good could protect you from something like this too. I think I'm gonna have to add this as a passive, because that looks like kind of shitty like that. So let me do this. Hold on. Added a bit of Shadow Dark to my D&D games. Characters are actively using torches. You know, that would be fun if D&D didn't make dark vision on every single character in existence, I would say that is awesome. Unless you say that they don't have that, because that would be cool if you did. Passive trait. Something like that, I think. Okay. This weapon's ammunition. Do it like this. This weapon's ammunition bypasses non-magical armor and shields AC bonus. I can't spell, can't read, can't talk. Non-magical. Let me see. Let me make this lowercase like that. Now, if you're a new player and you're reading this and you see this, surely this isn't confusing, right? Like, surely you're not going to read this and say, what does that mean? I don't understand. I don't think new people use my stat blocks because, you know, you're probably just using stuff straight out of a book, but this should be simple enough to understand, right? This weapon's ammunition bypasses non-magical armor and shields AC bonus. Oh, you didn't miss anything. I'm just trying to figure out how to put this on as a passive and not have to add another trait. As a newborn, I can confirm this makes sense. Thanks. Hold on. Sorry, Alex. I didn't read your messages. So, now some monsters have abilities related to fire and light. For example, they actively target creatures carrying torches or try to extinguish them. Yes. Good. I do that in Shadow Dark when I run games. They're disoriented and attacks with disadvantage or even actively avoids illuminated areas. Oh, they don't have dark vision. Good man. Good man. At ease, soldier. You've done your country a great service by taking away dark vision. I'm tired of dark vision. I'm tired of every creature in existence that the players can play just having dark vision. It just waters the game down. I did something like this before where I said it had a passive, but I don't remember what creature I did this with. What did I do this with? Gosh, I don't remember, Mickey. I don't know what I did. I did this somewhere. I just want to make sure, like, whenever I do this stuff, I like to make sure I'm keeping everything consistent. When everybody is super, nobody is. Exactly. That's my problem with 5e. Is like 5e is awesome in that you literally can homebrew it into a completely different game. It's just that, like, you got to make sure your players are okay with it. But, like, that's also a benefit of 5e. It's like it's got the bones of a great game. Because, like, if you go through the Dungeon Master's Guide, there's a lot of, like, really cool optional rules, like, towards the back of the book that I really like. There is, what is it? It's in here somewhere. It's, like, variant rules. I was just talking about it on the Discord the other day about, like, making a long rest, like, require 1 week of downtime completely changes the game. Like, entirely, completely changes the game. Like, short rest is 8 hours, a long rest is 7 days. Just doing that alone will change your game entirely. Spellcasters, they're gonna cry every time they cast a spell, because that's literally like, okay, you don't get that spell slot back until you take a long rest, which is a week, and you can't take a long rest in a dungeon. Like, you have to go to a town. So I really, really, really want to run a campaign with that rule, and I just want to see what it feels like. And then, like, warlocks, because a short rest is still 8 hours, but, like, warlocks are still going to benefit and feel a little bit more powerful because they get their spell slots back on a short rest. And then, like, that whole thing where it's like, warlocks suck because they only get 2 spell slots. that argument is sort of irrelevant. I'm doing this. Main goal is to progress time. Gives BBEG time to react. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Hell yeah. So anyways, what was I doing here? I have like crippling ADHD in my brain. It's just all over the place. You know what's kind of nuts is Life Drain not being a recharge ability is kind of crazy, isn't it? That's pretty nuts, if you ask me. I'm gonna see if ChatGPT can help me optimize this just real quick. I'm gonna see if you can cut down on the wording, severely optimize, and streamline this ability and its wording, abbreviate, do all you can to make this utilize less characters. Wow, still functioning the same. This is where ChatGPT is good. It's like a calculator for stuff like this. It's like a calculator for everything that's not math. For real, makes dungeoneering a blue-collar job. Preparation and investment would be key to survival. Wounds wouldn't be so inconsequential. Yeah, and like, when you take a long rest and you just heal everything back, a long rest is only 8 hours, so you know your players are just going to rest in the dungeon. They're gonna go, oh, well, we'll just, we'll go into this room, we'll block the door, we'll take a long rest and just restore all of our hit points. And it's like, yeah, the dragon that seared your flesh off your body, an hour ago, well, it's like, yeah, you just go to sleep overnight and your wounds are completely healed. Well, now it's like they can't do that. They have to rest for a week and to, like, regain all their hit points. And then hit die are also more important. Like, how many times do players use hit die? Like, in, like, reality, like, I don't think people use hit die that much. Because you can just spam short rests like over and over again because they're only, what, an hour or something? An hour or 4 hours? Ugh. Something like that. Life Drain. Sorry, let's do this here. Life Drain is a special attack. I don't like calling this a melee weapon attack because it's really... I do think spells and miracles should come back a little quicker than an entire week, though. I don't. I think you have to... that's why cantrips exist, right? Like in Shadow Dark, there are no cantrips, but every spell kind of counts as a cantrip because you can cast it as many times as you want as long as you don't fail the cast on it. But that's what, like, people are always talking about, like, spellcasters need to get nerfed. That's how you nerf spellcasters. Like, you make a long rest 7 days so, like, they don't just get their spell slots back willy-nilly and they really have to focus on using cantrips more. But if you think that it's too long, you could always do that, obviously. Is your profile picture a Dark Wraith from Dark Souls, by the way? It's so small I can't tell what it is, but looks like a Dark Wraith. What was I doing? Okay, how do I want to reword this here? Look at all this Wizards of the Coast bloat text here. We'll keep it melee weapon attack for now, but I don't really... What is that even going off of? Charisma? me see if they have a pre-made one in here just to see real quick. Life drain. Every caster weeps into his hands hearing this. Exactly, as they should. I've been foiled by casters for far too long. It's time that they pay the price. I'm more of a fan of making each spell having higher risk or a price. You already have trinkets and artifacts to watch over resources. It might be wisdom based. I'm trying to see here. Life drain. It's a spell attack on here, but it says melee weapon attack for... It doesn't make sense that it's a melee weapon attack. It's literally like a spell attack, so we're just gonna say melee spell attack. I guess we'll use wisdom. Wiz attack. Reach 5 feet. 5 feet. We're just gonna take out the word reach because you know that's what it is. Okay, we take that out. Then we go like this. What I'm actually gonna do here, I think I'm gonna call this a special action, and then we're gonna do it like, how am I gonna do this? Hold on, let me look at, I just made a creature the other day that I could use for this as an example. Special action. I need to get the invisible character here so it doesn't look weird. Hold on one second. You guys are probably like, what the hell is he talking about? You'll see, you'll see. Alright, I need this. I need to do this. Because we can cut out... I don't even think I really need this. I don't know, I'm losing my mind here. Let me look at my necromancer, hold on. Oh, I could just also call this an unnatural weapon too. We're gonna do that. We're gonna call this an no, never mind. I don't know what I'm doing. My brain's just having a complete, utter meltdown. Oh, this is where I could give them a second special attack, because you were talking about the curse or something. I could do something like that and give them a curse, or I can just... Let me look at the white lore, just double check. Yeah, hold on one second. So they also have an ability to see life energy. They could see an aura of the psychic value that living beings placed into their valuables has led to a behavior in which whites would collect such valuables, seemingly for the aesthetic values of these auras. Whites were resistant to harmful necromantic energies. They were unaffected by sleep, charm, hold person. Holy water was deadly to them. And the raised dead spell was said to instantly annihilate a white. That's interesting. That's deep cut lore. Okay, hold on. Let me get my bearings here. Okay, special action. This is called Life Drain. Okay, special action, Life Drain. Do that. We'll just say his attack. 2 hit. 5 feet. Bam, like that. There we go. I think you kind of know if it only has 5 feet of range, it's pretty much a melee. It says in their lore that the Raise Dead spell was said to instantly annihilate a wight, so I kind of want to add that in to, like, as a special trait or something. Call it like Life Anathema or something like that, and say if you cast the Raise Dead spell, it instantly kills the wight. It's kind of like how you destroy a troll or something. Okay. 2 hit, 5 feet. On hit. They take only 1d6 necrotic damage, huh? Is it level 6 priest spell? I don't know, actually. Let me look. I know it's Raise Dead is the higher level version. Is it 6th level though? Let's see. Not 6th level. Might be 5th level. It is 5th level. It's a 5th level spell, which is high. I mean, that's a pretty high level spell. Okay, we'll go back to that, but let me finish how I want to do this here. On hit. 1d6 necrotic damage. DC save, con, save, or HP, or its HP is reduced, HP maximum is reduced by the necrotic damage dealt until the creature takes a long rest. If this damage to 0, it dies. I could have probably even worded that better, but let me see here. So we did that. I need the invisible character here because it'll screw this up if I don't do that. Oh, I have to add in that turns into a zombie. Whoopsies. It dies. It dies and rises as a zombie under the Wight's control. What is it? 24 hours? Unless the humanoid is 5's life. And then screw all that shit with the 12 zombies under its control at a time. Okay, that's only... Uh-oh, my music stopped. Yes, continue. Okay, sorry. I'm not a fan of cured by long rest. Yeah, I also agree with that. I'm probably going to change that because it's supposed to be this really deadly thing. Why does going to sleep at night cure you? Let me read this. Hold on. I just want to get a feel for how strong this actually is according to their lore. Upon touching someone living, whites drained the life out of the victim. Okay, yeah, I mean, it drains the life out of you, so you need, like, greater restoration or something. The creature... greater restoration or similar magic, which is a 5th level spell. What is greater restoration? It's like a 3rd level spell or 5th level spell. Fourth level spell? What level is greater restoration? Oh, it's 5th level. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That should be good. I know I'm not bound to the official lore, but sometimes I like the official lore because in 5e they don't use a lot of the actual lore in the stat block because it's too strong in the lore, so they just nerf it for some reason. So I like to make it as strong as it is in the lore. I think honestly 1d6 is a little weak, but then again, it is draining your maximum HP. Okay. Let me read this real quick here. Let me see if I can. Life drain. It's now +3 to hit, which that should be +4. So what is it going off of? It's going off of con. Then, because it was +4. So the white... Oh no, it's not going off con. It is going off its charisma. I don't know why charisma of all things. That's weird. Max HP drains are painful for players. Yeah, it is, but it's fun. I mean, like, this is like something, like a white isn't just something you run into, I feel like. This is like, I mean, they could be random encounters, but like it should be like something scary when you run into it. We're making it pretty damn scary. Okay, DC 11 con save is trash, so I think I'm actually going to make this go off of the white's constitution as his, like... Because it's coming from his essence, which would be his constitution, right? So we're going to make this go off of his con. So it's a +5 to hit. DC 13 con save, or its HP max is reduced. I'm going to change maximum to max. Okay, as a new player, you're reading that and you're not like, oh my god, what does max mean? Like, you know what max means, right? Its HP max is reduced by the necrotic DMG, not damage, dealt until the creature is targeted by greater restoration or similar magic. The damage reduces it to 0, it dies, and rises as a zombie and otherwise controlled 24 hours unless the humanoid is restored to life, whose body is destroyed. Product DMG. Yeah, I mean, it's only DC 13, so that's like a really shitty save. This looks a lot cleaner than it was before, though, I think. And I always try to bold the saving throws, so like if you're just using this and he's like, okay, he hits you with life drain, I need you to make a DC 13 con save. You see it immediately because it's bolded. Creature is targeted by Greater Restoration or similar magic. Now, should it be Greater Restoration or should it be remove Curse? I think it would work even if it didn't say Greater Restoration. Any reduction to one effect reducing the target's hit point. Yeah, so Greater Restoration would work no matter what. I almost just don't even want to say that. Like, I just want to say your hit point max is reduced by the damage dealt, because Greater Restoration, rules as written, would still work even if I don't include this wording in here, and then that would take out a whole sentence. Like, I think that's fine, right? The only thing that bothers me is, like, I don't know if a new player is going to read that and, like, misinterpret that and just be like, oh no, you just never get your hit points back, buddy, and then you know, DmDungeonMastery becomes the TPK guy who just wants to TPK everybody. Necrotic damage dealt. What if I do this? If the damage reduces it to 0, it dies and rises as a zombie under the right's control in 24 hours, unless the humanoid is restored to life. I should say dies. If dies, we'll just say humanoids rise as a zombie under the White's control in 24 hours unless it is restored to life. Unless it is restored to life or its body is destroyed. This is why it takes me so long to make creature stat blocks, because I always go through these I go through this back and forth with myself for like 40 minutes over stupid stuff, but I'm always trying to optimize everything I do. Yeah, if it's a stronger version of a white, I think it should probably life drain you for way more damage. It should probably curse you also. Like, you would be, while you're life drained, you might have like disadvantage on Constitution saves or something like that. Let me get some different music playing here. That horn is annoying. Any living creature should rise. You think even if he kills a giant, he should turn it into a... Yeah, that's a good point. I guess we'll say. We'll just say living creatures. Living creatures rise as a zombie under the White's control in 24 hours unless it is restored to life or its body is destroyed. Cool ass knight riding a half horse from Castlevania. Yeah. Now, does it need anything else? I mean, like, it's definitely a functional stat block in its current state, but do we think it needs anything else? I'm gonna do cursed weapon. I'm gonna put that like that. Part of me wants to make life drain just do 2d4 instead of 1d6. It's like a shadow but slightly stronger. The d6 is just more swingy. But then again, it is reducing your maximum hit points. Should you note a specified weakness? That's right. I forgot about that. Living creature could be very dangerous. Yeah, it could be. Okay, do we think it should be every living creature or just humanoids? We'll have to come to an agreement here.
Killed this way. Rise as a zombie under the White's control.
We need to have... Alright, we'll do living creatures. I mean, like, the odds of, like, a white killing a giant is, like, rare, right? We'll just do living creatures. Kill this way, rise as a zombie. Under the white's control. I guess, okay, maybe I'm gonna add the white can have 12 undead under its control, just because for like lore reasons, like a world building standpoint, this is just as powerful as a necromancer. So we're just gonna say the white can have up to 12 undead under. And then I'll just do like that. We'll do like a comma and then a period, like that. And if it do kill a giant, it deserves a cool new thrall. That's right. You need level 8 slot of create undead. What do you mean by that? Players wouldn't abuse this living creature easily. Okay, that's right, that's right. We have to do like holy water weakness or something. If creature coats its arms and coats its armor in holy water, it is immune to the white's soul arrows. Alternatively, soul arrows and longsword curse. Alternatively, if the white is damaged by holy water, it takes double damage. Double damage. What would be the correct wording here? Imagine a wolf white that has a pack of zombie wolves that it raised as a pack. That would be cool. Or even just a regular white that had like undead wolves with it would be pretty sick, wouldn't it? Alternatively, if the white is coated in holy water, it takes double damage. Should this be if you dip your weapons in holy water, it takes the radiant damage? I don't know, maybe that's too much. I think this is good. Aversion to holy water. If a creature coats its armor in holy water, it is immune to the white's soul arrows and longsword curse. Alternatively, if the white is coated in holy water, it takes double damage. Or if the white is hit by a vial of holy water, I should say, maybe. The white is... takes double damage. I don't know, there's always like a bunch of random scenarios you could do where it's like, oh, I dip my mace in holy water, DM, what happens? I like this music, by the way. This is like peak creation music right here. It's good that way. I'd have something more complex to consecrate weapons than just putting holy water on them. Yeah, I agree. I just feel like there's always somebody that's gonna like be like, well, whoa, what if? It's like, man, I can't come up with a scenario for everything that your players can do. I don't like how this is worded though, so I'm gonna redo this. This weapons, ammunition, bypasses the AC bonus of non-magical armor and shields. There we go. That's better. That way the newbies understand it more. Living creatures. So you get cursed if you get hit with its long sword. Pricey anointing oils for weapons. Yeah. See, like that's the type of stuff that like 5e is really bad at, but like I think players should have to prepare to do stuff like that. Oh, I'm stealing incorporeal weapon trait. Yeah, you should see what I do with my ghost stat blocks. Like anything that is a ghost or incorporeal, that's how they work in my game. They just, like, if you don't have a magical shield or suit of armor, it just completely ignores it and it just hits you for whatever your AC is plus your dex. I'm stealing everything. Free stolen Wi-Fi, stolen laptop, McDonald's Wi-Fi. What does that meme? It's that one meme from Twitch. That shit was funny as hell. Let's see. Do we need anything else on this stat block? This is a CR3, keep in mind. So like this is pretty strong for a CR3. Yeah, so if they took this sword, what I would do if I was the DM is there's this thing in here for making magical weapons in the DMG, and there's like a table that you can roll for cursed weapons. I would say you have to roll on that cursed weapon trait if your character is like an alignment that isn't evil or something like that, maybe. I don't know what page it's on though. It's like it's always in like a random part of these. The 2014 Dungeon Masters guide is like very poorly organized. Random properties. Where are these at? I want to know what page it's on. Here we go. So what I would do is you could say they have these like minor detrimental properties, and like there's a table that you roll on, and those are like all negative effects that would come with like a cursed weapon. So that's what I would do. I would say like the weapon requires attunement. If you attune to it and you're not of evil alignment, there's like a ton of things in here that would work. While attuned to the artifact, you can't smell. While attuned to the weapon, non-magical flames are extinguished within 30 feet of you. Just stuff like that. I think that's like very fitting. It's only for artifacts though. I guess they are only for artifacts. Weird. But stuff like that, that's how you like, the longer you play the game, you start learning these little tricks that you get from these. I would say that's up to you as the DM, and that's up for you to decide if you want to let your players take the magic item. I just like to, like, for a low level creature, I like to specify like the weapon's only magical whenever he's using it. So like when you pick it up, it's just a weapon. It doesn't do anything special. I think this is a pretty deadly creature here. I'm gonna put this underneath the special action. Now we don't need any other special actions. We think it's good how it is. Is that what you guys think? You think it's done? It's got Death Wail. When reduced to 0 HP, each allied undead within 30 feet can immediately make an attack against a hostile creature of their choice. Yeah, I like Darkest Dungeon's approach, where like even like every magic item is like there's an upside and a downside to every magic item that you pick up in Darkest Dungeon, so I really like that design philosophy. Just want to go over the immunities again. Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing. Yeah, I don't think it needs... This is the speak now or forever hold your peace if you think it needs vulnerability to radiant damage. I don't think it needs vulnerability to radiant damage though. A white dragon that's horde is hundreds of cadavers of fallen heroes that rises. That's pretty sick. That's pretty cool. Oh, right. I have to do that Raise Dead spell, instantly kills them when they're targeted by it, because that was in the lore, and I like that. Yeah, so I have, they can't be... Hold person is a, that's a paralyze effect, isn't it? I kind of want to make them immune to paralyze. Because it says they can't be paralyzed either. So these are like pretty unstoppable, but again, they only have 45 hit points, so like a barbarian could like two-shot them or one-hit them in some scenarios. Right. It kind of sucks though, because I already have so many traits. I hate putting like 15 traits on one creature because it's annoying to keep track of. We're gonna do... I need a good RPG style name for this. What's a good name for a negative trait that states kind of like profane rejection? Anathema to life. That's a good one too. Anathema to life. Maybe we'll do that. Anathema to life. If targeted by a Raise Dead spell, the white is destroyed instantly. That's like a deep cut. That's like a deep cut. Like you're gonna have to do like a DC, like a DC 20 religion check, and then you find that out. Is the white... white, we'll say the white along with all it's carrying. Do that. That fills in that little space there. It's completely filled up. In the Lord of the Ring books, whites can move around in a paranormal way, retreat very quickly. Might be too much to add now, though. I mean, there could even be a PC white that says Hexblade Warlock. Rest in peace, Cool Sword. I could say that its equipment doesn't turn to dust too. I just think it's cool if you like hit it with that and then it just gets turned to dust. To me, that seems quite cool. Yeah, it says they dislike the sun. They're not harmed by it, unlike vampires. They don't need air, food, or drink to sleep. Retain their undeath. Dislike sun. Literally me. Yeah, me too. I hate the sun. I always have to wear sunglasses. They say that's like some sort of thing that comes with autism, so maybe I have autism. I don't know if I actually have it or not. I've never been diagnosed, but I just assume I have it because I'm a retard sometimes. I'm telling you, they're crypt neats, brah. What do you mean by neats? Crypt neats. We'll just say, you know what, I'll change this. All this is worded. Shut-ins. Oh yeah. Yeah, they probably, I don't picture them really coming out, but they do serve as minions to like greater undead, so I'm gonna call this profane rejection actually, because I already have another thing called life anathema, and I don't want to. We'll say the white is annihilated and turned to dust, and then I'll let the DM, that'll be up to the DM if his equipment gets destroyed too. I think this is good though. I think this is done, right? I don't think we need anything else. I got the cool lore built into it. Now if I was working on this, I would usually spend like a week on something like this, but you know, doing it on stream, I have to actually get it done. Otherwise, people are just going to be like, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Shut-ins. Don't go outside. Not in education, employment, or trading. Living the leech dream, for real. Also, I have mole rat eyes when it comes to sunlight, too. Yeah, I mean, we play D&D, so obviously we don't go outside, right? Why would you go outside? It's just not optimal to go outside. I'm gonna post this in the Discord. We're gonna put this guy in the Discord real quick. What is the date? 2/24/2025. Live stream creature. Alright, let me put this here. We gotta do that, and then I'll edit that if I have to. Alright, so you goobers can get the stat block on the Discord. I'm gonna put it on my Patreon as well. I also run into crackheads the moment I do where I live. Bro, street crackhead stat block when. I have to do a modern fantasy creature if I was gonna do that. Oh, one more thing. Did they say that they could sense life? They were able to perceive life energy. Now that's one thing that I might need to add, but I don't know how I would do that. So detect life, is that like a thing? Detect. No. We'll leave that to like flavor, I guess. Normally I'd be like hounding and hankering to add that on here, but I think this is good. Part of me wants to add something for its cursed longsword, but I think it's fine as a stab and a slash. I added all this other stuff here, so okay. I guess we did the white. How long have I been live streaming for? I don't even know. How long has this been going? 2 hours. Should I make another stat block or should I wait for the next live stream? That's the question. One may never know. Do you got the energy in the tank? I mean, I do, I think. I think I do. I don't know what to do next, though. The one guy wanted a Griffin stat block, but I don't know if he's still here. Griffin stat block guy, are you still here? Abernathy shield mage. Another one. Alright, what do you guys want me to do next? What creature should I do? I feel like I should do an actual creature that's what's it called? A creature that's already in like the monster manual. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I got it in me to stay for that long, though I don't have nothing tomorrow morning. Hey man, you don't gotta stay and listen to me talk. I totally get it. Golem? Nah, too complicated. What's like a creature that feels like just like really boring? Like it doesn't have anything to do. Like you play it and you're like, man, this is just trash whenever you run it because it just like doesn't do anything. Orogs? I've done Orogs though. Yeah, I have. I did a huge rework. I made like so many stat blocks for them. I could try to do the ogre again. Go back and redo my old ogre stat block. Yeah, they are orcs that live in the Underdark, actually. They're really cool. I like their lore. They're horribly misrepresented in 5e though. They like have no, you can't even tell that like it's an Orog. It just seems like an orc when you look at it. I'm looking through here, looking through these creature stat blocks here. Oh, we got an owlbear. Owlbears are cool. A minotaur. I've done a minotaur. Lizard folk would be cool, but I don't really know what I would do with a lizard folk. Those are pretty super incredibly simplistic creatures. Looking through these here. Very pinhead beings. Sturges. Sturge would be cool. Sturge. Yeah. Do you guys want to do a Sturge? That sounds cool. Those are quite interesting. I don't think I have the stat block for that. Oh, I do have the stat block for that. They're like bats, but mixed with a mosquito. They're like fuzzy bats that have like mosquito proboscis on them. Proboscises. They're kind of derpy looking when you look at them. Ever make a spirit warrior stat block? No, I have not done a spirit warrior. They don't do something to your head, but they drain your blood, and they attach to you whenever they like they fly into you, they latch onto you, and then they poke you with their proboscis, and they stay latched onto you. Holy hell, those are real small. They only have like 2 hit points. This will be a quick one if I do this one, which isn't a bad thing necessarily. Let me look at the lore for a Sturge real quick. Sturge. Sabawa. Soul Drum Water Eater. They are interesting. They are definitely interesting. See, if I do these, like my brain goes to like, oh, you have like the blood drained condition, and like you're like unable to Strigoi are like Sturge vampire. To me, Strigoi are vampires that are like more bestial than like the aristocratic vampire. When I think Strigoi, I think like Warhammer Fantasy, which I do want to do vampires eventually too. That'll be like a whole big thing though, because I want to do like they move incredibly fast. Like vampires should be way stronger than they are in game now. Sturge. Oh yeah, we could just do a noble stat block, right? Nah. What is the difference between a noble and a commoner? They can parry you. They don't even have like a gold coin pouch attack or something. When I read the lore, it said Strigoi were Sturges experimented on. That might be, yeah, that might be D&D lore for them. When I think of like a Strigoi, like if you go on Google Images, type in Warhammer Fantasy Strigoi, that's what I think of when I think of a Strigoi. They're like vampires that are like bestial and savage instead of like the aristocratic vampire, which my favorite vampires are like aristocratic ones. Sounds like nonsense. Some D&D lore ain't so hot. Depends, I suppose. Especially nowadays. Oh my god, what a long paragraph for an ability. Gladiator. Maybe we will just call it on that first creature stat block. I don't know if I do have it in me to make a whole nother creature stat block. My voice is going. You can hear it in my voice. It's going. I'm starting to sound like Stevie Richards. But I will say, if you guys do want to get that stat block that I just made, to go to the Discord or the Patreon, and it'll be up on the Patreon for free because I made it on live stream, and you could just easily take it for yourself even if it wasn't free anyway. So yeah, I think I'll probably end it after that, just because it took a while, but I still had fun making it, and it was fun talking to everybody the whole time. I do like the D&D Strigoi though. Well, perhaps whenever I do a Sturge rework, I'll look into that, and I'll try to make like some Sturges like that are based off of that lore specifically. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. I appreciate the support as always. It's always fun. I've always like wanted to have a community to live stream to. It's always been like a dream of mine. So it's cool to just interact with people while I'm working on shit like this. It's always really fun. D&D's such a niche hobby, so it's like part of me really wants to do like video game live streams too, where I'm just playing like video games, but I know like people would probably be like, what are you doing, bro? Like, your D&D channel. Maybe humans or elves who had Sturges. Gene Splice, that's cool. Channel's seriously underrated. Thanks, bro. You don't play D&D like that? What? Yeah, like it's you'd be surprised how fun it is to make stat blocks. I mean, like if you DM games, you don't get to play as a player character. So my whole philosophy has always been like, stat blocks are like what we get in terms of like, we don't get player characters, we get stat blocks. So like, obviously, like, it's kind of fun to mess around and make stat blocks, you know. Oh, we got to do the veteran one of these days too, because he needs to have like special attacks like a battle master fighter. Maybe I'll do the veteran next time I stream. I might even be able to stream tomorrow at some time. I just don't know yet. I want to try to stream like more consistently though, because it is fun to stream. I feel like there's not a lot of people that stream D&D that aren't just like, they're just playing D&D on stream rather than just like, chilling out and doing D&D related stuff like me. One of these days here too, I want to make a whole dungeon with everybody, and like we'll just have you guys, we'll come up with like the story of the dungeon, and like come up with like what's in each room, like what level is the dungeon made for, what traps are going to be in the dungeon. That's something I really want to do, because that'll be really fucking fun. Also, one day you got to make a rework of the Wizard Slayer class. I don't even know what that is. Dungeon design as a group would kick ass. Hell yeah. How to RPG does dungeon stuff. Like he uses a certain website. That's the only thing I'll have to figure out, is like, I want to make it look good, and I want to have it to where like you have like the PDF of like what the dungeon is. That's the only thing I suck at, because I'm really bad at using Markdown and Homebrewery. So I'm gonna have to find somebody who can help me with stuff like that, because I know people pay for stuff like that in the D&D stratosphere. They like dungeons and like books with like creatures and stuff like that. So I do want to start dipping my toe into more stuff like that. I think it's fun. It's definitely fun. I just have to figure out what website I would use to make a dungeon. I think, what is it? This website? I think it's gonna look really bad for you guys. Random. They have a random dungeon generator right here, and it makes these like. Here, Here we'll construct this dungeon real quick. But it makes like these blank maps like this that just have like the numbers on it. Let me zoom out so you can see it better on the stream. And they all come labeled, and it has like pre-made stuff for it. But it would be cool to like generate one of these and then like put in like, oh, in room 3 it's a scythe chamber, it's a blood harvesting chamber or something. It would be cool to do something like that. I think people would really like that. So maybe in an upcoming stream we'll definitely have to get on that, because nothing more fun than interacting with the community, as I always say. I'm going to be putting that up on the Discord, or up on the Patreon as well. We'll put that weight on there for free for you guys, and then play test it, kill your players with it, tell me how strong or if it wasn't strong enough, because I always like hearing stories like that. When people tell me, yo, your wyvern caused a TPK, it's like really funny for me to hear stuff like that. We got 7 concurrent viewers. That's pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie. Also, my music stopped, so I'm just talking with like too much dead air. There we go. So I'm assuming you guys would be pretty down to make some dungeons together. We can even utilize some creatures that I've made. Oh my lord, that's loud. My first TPK was pretty devastating. It was pretty devastating. My players went into the XP to level 3 version of the Tomb of Horrors, and they didn't run while the Demi-Lich was forming itself, so they just kind of 100 emoji. They just kind of stood there while the Demi-Lich was reforming itself, and they're sitting there trying to pull the gem out of the skull. I'm like, guys, it's not coming out. And they're like, yeah, but it's loot and we need it. And then they were like level 8, and a Demi-Lich is like a CR 18, so I think it killed everybody on the first round of combat. It did the howl, and then like everybody just died right off the bat, because even if you succeed, you're still frightened of that ability, and then if you fail, you die. So yeah, that was a pretty it was such an anticlimactic end for everybody's characters, but also it was kind of funny at the same time. What if I do that? Yeah, see, I like these like smaller dungeons like this. These are pretty cool. Oh yeah, brother. Well, I suppose that will be DmDungeonMastery signing off for the night, as my hiccups come back to haunt me and start attacking me. I am going to sign off for the night. I appreciate you guys for joining me on this, because it is very fun. It's always fun to have you guys in here with me. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here staring at this screen for hours and hours and hours and hours on end, and it gets a little insane. I start losing my mind. I haven't even ran D&D 5e in months, and I've been like making stuff for it, but I haven't run the game in so long. So I'm gonna have to start up my campaign again soon here. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for joining me. It's DmDungeonMastery, and as always, I'm not saying goodnight. I'm just saying, I will catch you guys in the next stream. Thank you for stopping by. Peace out.